All right. Well, today you three are guessing my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time.
All right.
So there are a list of 40 movies to choose from, and 10 of them are obviously my top 10. Alden, what do you think my 10th favorite horror movie is? I will say that this is kind of like one of those where it's like, I don't love the movie, but I do appreciate it a good amount.
Well, for some reason, I'm leaning towards Night of the Living Dead.
Do you want to ask me any questions about it, or do you just want to stick with that?
I'm just sticking with it.
Jory, what's your take?
My gut is telling me to pick Halloween 2. Is Halloween 2 on this list?
No.
Fuck. My gut is telling me to pick Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, 1982.
Do you want to ask me any questions about Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, or
About it. I want to ask why specifically Halloween 3 out of the larger franchise, out of any of the sequels, like compared to 2 or 4, say?
have you seen 3 per se?
Per se, I have not.
Okay, well, it's the most wildly different of the Halloween franchise. Michael Myers isn't in the movie. When the third one rolled around, they stuck with the original premise of each of them being isolated horror movies that take place on Halloween. The atmosphere is cool, but the kills are cheesy. It's a very weird movie. The soundtrack's kind of neat, and the premise is pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
I do want to guess something else in that case, but I do want to ask you a question about this one as well. How do you feel about Psycho 2?
So Psycho 2 is actually, I know Josh likes this movie a lot too. It's such a bold horror movie sequel, especially since Psycho is seen as like a classic.
It had like no reason to be good, and it was.
Yeah, it's a really solid follow-up for some reason.
I think I'm going to go with Psycho 2 as my answer for number 10.
Josh, what is your prediction?
I'm actually going to go with the original 1960 Psycho, because I feel like that's a movie you do really enjoy, but I don't know if that's going to like be in your top 5 or anything.
I like that reasoning.
What is your take on Psycho, like aside from the historical preference, just as a movie you enjoy?
Is one of those movies that I feel like if you're going to show someone a black and white movie, it's probably a really good one to get them interested in watching movies that they associate with being extremely old.
I like the nickname that Hitchcock gets as the master of suspense more than horror. And also the trailer for Psycho is one of the coolest trailers of all time.
And the production design is so fucking incredible.
The original Psycho might be on like my top 10 favorite movies of all time in general. I adore that film.
Are you locking in Psycho?
Yeah, I'm going to lock in Psycho.
Damn.
So, yeah, my number 10 was Psycho, 1960.
Wow.
Yo!
Josh is right on the money there.
Holy shit.
So there's 2 movies that fit this subgenre at number 9. Josh went last time. How about Josh goes first this time?
I'm going to go with Scream. I think it takes on that kind of parody-like subgenre where it kind of not makes fun of these movies, but like I think Scream is a really cool example where it is a slasher film, but doesn't take itself too seriously. And I think it's in your top 10. Maybe not, but I'll take a chance here since I got the number 10 correctly and say Scream.
All right. Good choice. Jory?
When you say subgenre, what I immediately think of as far as horror goes is like, what type of threat are we dealing with here? As I just scanned the list down real quick to just look for like something that there was just a pair of movies that were like that, my eyes immediately went to The Howling and An American Werewolf in London. Between the two of those, I have a feeling that you appreciate the transformation scene, at least in An American Werewolf in London, more than that in The Howling.
Both came out the same year, too, which is incredible. There are 2 incredible werewolf transformation movies the same year. Like, how insane.
In 1981, they were just like, what if fucking werewolves, man?
All right, Alden, it's your turn to make a prediction.
So I'm kind of thinking Child's Play, because Child's Play and The Babadook kind of have a subgenre, I would say.
Alden, did you see The Babadook?
No.
I can tell.
Child's Play was one I was also thinking of.
The Babadook is like...
A gay icon?
Yeah, apparently.
He was in the LGBT section on Hulu or something for like...
It was on Netflix, yeah.
Why can't you just be straight? Ah!
I'm going to stick with Child's Play.
My number 9 is in fact Creepshow, The subgenre was horror anthology.
I'd be shocked if Scream was not on here. Maybe I said it too early. We'll find out.
Number 8, I want to give a hint for this, but I don't want to make it too obvious. This movie reinvented the genre that it's a part of.
Is this one a movie from the 80s?
Maybe. It did reinvent a genre, and I do think the 80s were the decade of reinventing stale genres. I will say that.
Immediately when you said reinvented genres, my first thought was to Night of the Living Dead, but then I was like, no, that more invented the genre.
Yes.
Turn of the Living Dead is on this list. And did I just not see another?
Yeah, Day of the Dead's also on the list. Both came out in 1985, I believe.
Between the two, because I do think that I want to go with one of those. Like, what to you is what the zombie genre is about?
I think the zombie genre at its core is essentially about two things. It's about disease, and it's about being overrun by a fairly weak monster. Most other monster movies or horror movies have one main threat, have one monster. But the zombie movie in particular is kind of more about there's so many of them, we can't physically stop them.
All right. Well, in that case, I think I'm going to go with Day of the Dead.
Okay. Alden, you can go second this time.
I know I've talked with you about The Thing previously.
I was looking at that one too.
It's almost like a whodunit also, though, because you're trying to figure out who the monster is the entire movie.
Yeah, it's a very unique horror movie despite there now being 3 of the things.
So yeah, I'm sticking with The Thing.
Josh, what do you think my number 8 is? I have talked about this movie with you before.
Something that you watched in college that you think is revolutionary. That is a couple of movies here.
Wait, sorry to bother you. It's not on this.
What do you think about 1977 Suspiria?
It's probably more ambitious than it is actually good, if that makes any sense. It's one part a slasher movie before the slasher movie really took off with things like Halloween, but it's also like a witch / like coven kind of movie. Cinematography and like production design are straight up incredible, but like it's an Italian horror film, I believe done by Dario Argento. They have German actors, they have Italian actors, they have one American actor and 2 French actors. Everyone was saying their native languages on set, and then they redubbed everyone else's lines for whatever language they were in. Kind of ambitious, but also kind of confusing because half the characters' mouths don't match up with what they're saying. I think it's a pretty decent movie.
You rewatched this in college because the remake was coming out. There is a part of me that just wants to say the original Halloween. If the original Halloween is on your list, I don't think it's in your top 5. So I'm going to go with Halloween.
Jory guessed Day of the Dead, Alden guessed The Thing, and Josh guessed Halloween. Jory, you're going to hate this.
It was the other one, wasn't it? Fuck!
Number 8 was Return of the Living Dead. You were so close.
I said Halloween. I don't think it's on the list.
Yeah, probably not. I feel like The Thing has to be on here.
This is one of the 3 that's already been said that is on my list.
And I'll say Scream is here. I just don't think Scream is in your top 5. There's going to be a lot of 80s horror movies in your top 5 just based on your taste. Scream missed the top 5.
The Thing being at number, what is this, 6?
7.
7. Yeah, no, I agree with Josh. I'm going to go with Scream.
I feel like The Thing might be a little higher, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go Scream anyway.
It is Scream.
Yeah.
Scream is definitely a movie that reinvented the genre that it's in. Kind of also simultaneously killed the slasher genre. My hint here is this is not an 80s horror movie, but it kind of feels like one.
Okay, I'm going with It Follows. Final answer.
Right before you said that, I was going to go with It Comes at Night because I feel like there's no way Nate's not going to want to talk about this movie on the podcast.
I feel like based on how I've heard Nate talk about It Comes at Night, it's a little bit later on this list.
I'd be surprised, though, in a horror top 10 favorites, it'd be in his top 10, because I feel like It Comes at Night is just more of a suspenseful thriller to me. But I was also thinking The Witch, because it is like that one location, characters, but then the ending of The Witch kind of throws me off, because that's very non-80s horror.
I mean, to me, The Witch sticks out as, like, really modern, though. Like, in its tone. Like, I don't see The Witch and think 80s.
Yeah, no one does, like, hard period horror movies until Robert Eggers came around.
I'll go with It Comes at Night. I'll lock it in.
You've talked about this so much, I'm not sure I have to.
That's fair. Number 6 on my list is It Follows.
Hell yeah!
Jory locked it.
That's fucking right. Bitches. Night. Like, to me, the most 80s out of all of these is obviously It Follows.
The monster is really creative too, because it can be anybody that just aimlessly follows you until you die. In fact, this is the horror movie version of Tag 2018. And it's also a metaphor for STDs, which is really cool because that's what the 80s were all about, was cocaine and AIDS. Yeah, I can say this. It's a little controversial.
Uh-oh.
This is the only movie of its type. This is the only movie in this subgenre, in this category, this specific type of horror movie.
He says that like it's the only of its kind. Can the only of its kind have sequels? Because that's what I'm like juggling with right now.
I would assume no.
It could, but I wouldn't think those sequels would be on the list then if it's the only of that specific genre, right? Because its sequels would probably be of that same genre.
Because I was thinking of The Exorcist, but I feel like Nate likes The Exorcist 3 more.
Based on all that sequel talk, now it has me thinking that it's definitely a sequel, that the rest of the series is not represented on here.
It's got to be something a little more controversial. Could it be Halloween 3 then, Jory?
When he said that, my initial thought was Poltergeist, because I'm looking on here and I'm not seeing any other straight up like ghost movies.
Yeah, but how many shape-shifting alien movies are there on here?
There's The Thing, there's sort of Halloween 3.
Halloween 3 is definitely on Nate's list. Like, I know that's his favorite Halloween movie, but I don't know where it is.
My mind first went to like Saw 2, but then I was like, that's probably not on Nate's top 10.
That is my favorite Saw movie.
That's pretty based, but
So the thread is very clear, you're saying.
The second act of this movie, you meet the like what the threat is. And you're like, oh, okay, so that's the threat of this film.
It makes me want to say It Comes at Night, because I feel like in the second act, that's when you learn the threat is just themselves.
my thought when he said that was Rosemary's Baby.
Fairly confident in my own decision with The Thing.
I just think there's a lot of horror movies on here. Well, I guess 4 others that I think he would rewatch more.
This list is pretty much like, it's probably the order of how often I've seen these movies, like the amount of times I've seen them, at least this top 10.
Okay, I'm confident. I'm going to lock It Comes at Night.
All right, Josh is going for It Comes at Night for the second round in a row. Alden, what do you predict?
I feel like It Comes at Night is a little too low here, so I'm going to stick with The Thing.
Okay.
So I think I am going to agree with Alden on this one and go with The Thing.
My number 5 was Midsummer. It's the only movie where a cult, an explicit, non-witch, non-voodoo zombie related cult is the antagonist. You meet them at the very beginning of the second act, and you're with them through the rest of the film.
Wow.
God damn it, Rosemary's Baby.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
I thought at this point Midsommar was not going to make the list.
All right, guys, it's number 4. It's definitely a horror movie, and it's definitely...
Definitely a horror movie.
It's a horror movie that feels more like a mystery or kind of like a noir through most of the first and second act.
I want to fucking say It Comes at Night again, because I think there is a mystery aspect to that, and it does have a...
Is it really a noir? Like, I feel like I've never heard that about that.
I don't know. What would be another example of a noir on this list?
I would argue that there's literally one. And if you've seen this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
If you've seen this movie. Fuck! God damn it, what are some movies that Nate never shuts the fuck up about?
Josh guessing It Comes at Night for the third round in a row.
Josh, have you seen either Suspiria?
No.
All right, let's look up Suspiria.
Do you like the remake, Nate?
I'd highly recommend watching them both, but I feel like every single person who watches both will strongly prefer one over the other.
Yeah, Jory, I'll lock the original, and you can lock the remake.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the remake. The 2018 version.
It really hurts that I haven't seen a good amount of these.
Yeah, I've seen all of these movies at least 3 times, so...
Yeah, I'm going to side with Josh.
All of you are wrong.
Okay.
Whoa.
It is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Damn it. This is what I get for not watching Halloween 3 yet.
Time for number 3. What do you think my third favorite horror movie of all time?
I think It Comes at Night, and I'm locking.
I agree. If it's in your top 2, that's going to be really wild.
I assume you really like The Thing. We've talked about it a little bit, so I'm gonna say The Thing.
You're buying into The Thing for number 3. Okay. You guys are going to hate, but Alden's right.
Oh my god.
My third favorite horror movie of all time.
I'm a gamer.
There it is.
Yeah, my hint for number 2 is it prominently takes place in pretty much the same location the whole film.
I'm going to lock Poltergeist.
Ooh, okay.
It was Nate's first horror movie. He's talked about it a lot. I think it's on this list.
Oh, I'm gonna say fucking Evil Dead. I thought it was interesting that Evil Dead 2 wasn't on this list.
As a filmmaker, the first Evil Dead kind of resonates with me more because there's so many like dumb mistakes that are made, but like it's so charming in a way. Tonally, I think the second one is stronger. You did talk about it with like the whole slider thing back when we were talking about sequels better than the original.
What are you locking, Alden?
I don't know. How much location variation is there in It Comes at Night?
Not many.
There's pretty much the woods, the truck, the house.
Roger that. I'm sticking with It Comes at Night.
It Comes at Night is my number 2. Is that what you think?
No, but maybe.
It's locked.
I can't believe no one has talked about this at all. It's sticking out like a sore thumb on this list of movies. My number 2 is The Shining.
Oh.
Looking at it.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I didn't watch The Shining.
Y'all folded.
Nate, you know I don't know how to read.
I literally looked at it before picking It Comes at Night again.
All right, if we're guessing my favorite horror movie of all time, we've had like 20 guesses for It Comes at Night. You guys know me pretty well, so you should be able to figure out what my favorite horror movie of all time is.
Yeah, I know Nate. I know Nate likes Jeff Goldblum. It's The Fly.
The Fly would be a pretty based horror movie to have as your favorite.
I would have a lot of respect for that person.
There's a part of me that really wants to say It Comes at Night. But then there's also a part of me that also wants to think like The Evil Dead, Poltergeist. Like there's a couple here that I know Nate really appreciates.
Like I said, I've seen all 40 of these movies at least 3 times. So my appreciation for this entire list is pretty damn high. This is kind of the hint, I guess, is the movie on this list I have seen the most amount of times. I'm almost 100% sure of that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I don't think It Comes at Night is on this list.
Yeah, after all that.
I do find myself sort of leaning towards Josh's take of Poltergeist now, though. You were saying that he saw it like when he was a kid and like it was his first horror movie. I think that Poltergeist is an extremely rewatchable horror movie, especially if you started with it at a young age.
I'm trying to downplay Poltergeist because it's going up against my favorite horror movie in a couple weeks.
Well, yeah, I'm not asking Poltergeist. I'm asking Hereditary.
Hereditary. I've seen that 4, maybe 5 times.
What about The Exorcist, Jory?
I don't know.
That's kind of wild it wouldn't be on his list, but at the same time, he really likes Exorcist 3, and maybe he isn't attached to that franchise as much as others, which is fine.
I think it's a great horror movie. I think it's a weak franchise. I think Exorcist 3 only works because it's so wildly different.
Based on what Nate likes, it would be so strange if Poltergeist isn't on this list at all. I think I'm going to play it safe and just say Poltergeist.
I think I'm gonna agree.
Are you drinking the Kool-Aid, Alden?
No, sorry, I didn't go to Jonestown. How much have we talked about Saw 2?
Not very much at all.
I mean, it could be.
Favorite horror movie of all time over The Thing? That would be some jackass clown take.
If you want to be different, Alden, another one that I was really considering was also Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
When was the first time you saw Silence of the Lambs?
Probably like a year or 2 after I saw Poltergeist. I was probably 11 or 12.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna say The Evil Dead.
Not a bad pick.
Notable movies that were not on my list. I'm going to say this before I reveal what my number 1 movie was. Poltergeist, not on my list. It Comes at Night. Also not on my list. Evil Dead, not on my list. My number 1 horror movie of all time is the 1977 Suspiria.
Interesting.
Whoa.
I was really interested in that looking at it.
I have watched that movie upwards of 20 times, maybe more. I used to fall asleep to this movie in college.
That's pretty fucked up.
You've told me that before. I don't know why I forgot.
It is my favorite cinematography in a film ever. The color and like use of like saturation and production design mixed with like vibrant lights is super unique. And there's also really awesome miniatures in this and some crazy high angles. It literally reminds me of like Batman 89 in the best of ways at certain times, where it's like, this is clearly a soundstage, but it feels like it's a fantasy world. 1 part slasher movie, 2 part occult witch. It's awesome. Alden won with negative 60 points.
Whoa.
Wow.
Did it.
So one more time, my list of top 10 horror movies. Number 10, Psycho. Number 9, Creepshow. Number 8, Return of the Living Dead. 7, Scream. 6, It Follows. 5, Midsummer. 4, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. 3, The Thing. 2, The Shining. And 1, Suspiria. That does it for this episode. Thank you, everyone. What are some of your favorite horror movies? Let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Be sure to check out the links in the description, whatever platform you're on. We've got a lot of cool stuff we're promoting. Join our Discord if you want part of the discussion. We're trying every day to make it worth your time. All right, you guys want to play Among Us?
I gotta get a game on my phone.
Get a game on your phone, Josh.
What's wrong with that? Why do you not like having games on your phone?
Nothing's wrong.